I wanted to show you this room that I painted in a house in Notting Hill because it contains several techniques that were applied in several stages. So it is the recreation of a damask effect on the walls, but not all over and throughout, but in sections. You first prepare the wall, you line it, you prime it, and then you apply a base coat in a ground color for this damask stencil that was going to be applied here. If you look in detail, you can see that it's very distressed. It is not a flat color, but what you do is you apply an oil-based glaze over the whole wall, and then with a cloth you dab it off and you even it out so that it moves, but it has certain transparencies. You decide what design to use. Then you have to cut out the whole stencil. In this case, it was in 3 sections, applied one on top of another. Then, applying the stencils on the wall and painting the color through. You don't see the usual bridges that you see in a stencil painting, which makes the whole thing look a bit unrealistic. In this case, there was a bridge here and a bridge there. We then painted all the different bridges out by hand. And when that was done all over this section, we waited for the paint to be a bit more dry and tacky, and then you can wipe the whole surface out with a dry cloth. And again, you can distress the surface and make the whole thing look very uneven. There are some areas which are lighter, some areas are darker, and like that the whole room starts moving around a bit more. The background color is done in a flat, dull color. It hasn't got much reflection when you look at it. The subsequent stencils are in a glossier finish, so that when you look against the light of the window or a lamp, you start seeing that the whole stencil starts shining. It has a reflective quality to it. I then also mixed gold highlight powder into the glaze, which gives it a very shiny, goldy feeling depending where you look at. And when this was done, we then applied darker stencils on top of the previous one. Some of them were actual stencils, as you can see here, but some things were done freehand, like those little dots and stuff. And like that, the whole thing has depth again. Not only the depth of the ground color, the depth of the stencils, and the depth of the dark colors. And the whole thing starts to move. The second section, which is this one here, was completely separate. The color is not as distressed as that. It's quite simple. It has 2 decorative ribbons coming down, delimited by these 2 lines, one darker, one lighter, and then these little floral motifs that were put all over the wall.